G'day guys, Max here from Evidence-Based Football Manager. This is part 7 of my Football Manager training analysis series. Today we'll be having a look at the set piece training sessions in Football Manager. In FM22, when you go into the training page, you can see there are different categories of training, and this category here, set pieces, is what we're going to look at today. There are 6 different types of set piece training. They are attacking free kicks, attacking corners, defending free kicks, defending corners, penalties, and delivery. First thing I want to do in this video is to find out whether conducting one of these set piece training sessions just before a match increases your chance of scoring from set pieces in that upcoming match. This experiment is similar to what I did in my last video when I looked at match preparation training. In that previous video, I showed you how the match preparation sessions in FM22 had no impact on the outcome of an upcoming match. So today we're continuing with the same theme here. This time it's just with the set piece training sessions instead of match preparation sessions. Now you might be thinking that training in Football Manager is a long-term thing, so a training session held just before a match would have negligible effects on the outcome of that match. Yes, I agree with that if we're talking about the effect that training has on boosting the attributes of players. But match preparation and set-piece training sessions are presented in the game as having a temporary, one-off boosting effect for your team for an upcoming match. For example, if your team makes it to a cup final in the game, like FA Cup or the Champions League final, your assistant manager will use a training schedule called Big Match Preparation, which includes a few different types of match preparation and set-piece training sessions. Also, if you go into the training overview page, it tells you at the bottom here, special focus has been placed on the following areas ahead of the match. And it gives you a list of all the match preparation and set-piece training that your players have conducted recently. The game is trying to make us believe that match preparation and set-piece training sessions have an immediate, short-term effect on the performance of your team when these training sessions are performed just before a match in Football Manager, which is why I have made it my task in this video to verify whether such effect actually exists. The experiment that I'm doing today is pretty similar to the experiment that I did in my last video, so I won't explain the experiment design in full detail here. I'll just go through the changes that I made since the last video. Firstly, in the previous video, I made my players conduct one session of match preparation training before leading up to the test match. But some people have pointed out to me that a single session of training is just not enough to produce any meaningful difference. So in today's experiments, I made my players perform 7 set-piece training sessions leading up to the test match instead of 1. For the free kick and the corner routines, I stuck to the default routines that are provided by the game. The idea is that if these set-piece sessions indeed have a boosting effect on your players, which again is what the game is trying to make us believe, then surely 7 sessions should be enough to produce a meaningful difference. I used the in-game editor to maximize the tactical familiarity and the fitness of the players for both teams immediately leading up to the test match, which means that tactical familiarity and fitness are not working as variables in today's experiments. Also, in the last video, I was counting the number of wins and losses for the 2 teams in the test match, Team A and Team B. But today, I'm not interested in the win rate of these 2 teams. Today, I'm interested more in finding out whether set-piece training leads to an increase in the number of goals that come from corners or free kicks. So, at the end of every test match, I recorded the number of free kick goals and corner goals, which is a statistic that you can find here in the team detailed page. Lastly, in the previous video, the players in my experiments had 15 in all attributes, but I thought maybe 15 is too high, so I changed the attributes of the players to 13. The sample size for today's experiments is 300 trials per sample group. So first of all, 300 trials for the control group. That's when the players didn't do any training before the test match. After that, 300 trials when the players did 7 attacking free kick sessions before the trial match. Then 300 trials when the players did 7 defending free kick sessions, 300 trials with attacking corner training, 300 trials with defending corner training, and finally 300 trials with 7 delivery training sessions before the test match. Note that I didn't mention the penalty training session. This is because I tested the penalty training session separately using a slightly different setup. So first of all, these are the results for the control group when the players did not do any training leading up to the test match. So after 300 independent trials, Team A has recorded 25 goals from corners, 1 goal from direct free kicks, and 1 goal from indirect free kicks. Team B has recorded 22 goals from corners, 0 goals from direct free kicks, and 3 goals from indirect free kicks. Notice the number of goals from free kicks are very, very low for both Team A and Team B. I mean, 5 free kicks from both teams out of 300 matches it's an extremely low number. Remember in my experiments, I used the default free kick routines for both teams, Team A and Team B. So the low incidence of free kick goals that you see here in these tables, it could mean either the default attacking free kick routines are very ineffective or the default defensive free kick routines are very, very effective. Anyway, the important thing to note from these results is that the two teams, Team A and Team B, have recorded more or less similar number of goals from corners and free kicks, which I guess proves that the experiment has been set up properly without having any bias to either side of the experiment. Next, we have the results when Team A conducted 7 attacking free kick training sessions leading up to the test match. We'll disregard the number of corner goals for now. We'll just discuss the number of goals that come from free kicks. So after 300 trials, Team A has recorded 2 goals from direct free kicks and 6 goals from indirect free kicks. Team B has recorded 1 goal from direct free kicks and 10 goals from indirect free kicks. So the number of free kick goals for Team A did go up from a total of 2 goals to 8 goals. Although you could argue that the incidence of free kick goals are still too low to give it any statistical significance. The fact that Team A's free kick goals went up from 2 to 8, it could be a genuine reflection of the effects of attacking free kick training, or it could just be like a random statistical fluctuation. I'm not an expert in statistics, so I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. Next, we have the results when Team A conducted 7 defensive free kick sessions leading up to the test match. So after 300 trials, Team A has recorded 2 goals from direct free kicks and 5 goals from indirect free kicks. On the other hand, Team B has recorded 1 goal from direct free kicks and 9 goals from indirect free kicks. Since Team A has performed defensive free kick training leading up to the test match, you would expect the number of free kick goals for Team B to go down compared to the control group, but unfortunately that was not observed in these results. The number of free kick goals for Team B went from 3 in the control group to 10 here, so it's pretty hard to say that the defensive free kick training sessions conducted by Team A had any effect on the performance of the players from Team A. Next, we have the results when Team A conducted 7 attacking corner sessions leading up to the test match. After 300 trials, Team A has recorded 23 goals from corners, and Team B recorded 21 goals from corners. We'll disregard the number of free kick goals for now, because now we're just talking about the goals that come from corner kicks. So since Team A has performed attacking corner training leading up to the test match, you would expect the number of corner goals for Team A to go up compared to the control group. But again, that was not observed in these results. The number of corner goals for Team A went from 25 in the control group to 23 here. So again, it's hard to say that the attacking corner training sessions conducted by Team A were having any effect for the Team A players. Next, we have the results when Team A conducted 7 defending corner sessions leading up to the test match. After 300 trials, Team A recorded 24 goals from corners and Team B has recorded 30 goals from corners. Since Team A has performed defensive corner training leading up to the test match, you would expect the number of corner goals for Team B to go down compared to the control group. But again, that did not happen, as you can see from these results. In fact, the number of corner goals for Team B went up from 22 in the control group to 30 goals here when Team A did defensive corner training. So again, guys, there is no evidence that defensive corner training conducted by Team A was having any effect on the performance of Team A players. Lastly, we have the results when Team A conducted 7 delivery sessions leading up to the test match. After 300 trials, Team A has recorded 23 goals from corners, 0 goals from direct free kicks, and 2 goals from indirect free kicks. On the other hand, Team B has recorded 22 goals from corners, 2 goals from direct free kicks, and 7 goals from indirect free kicks. So here you would expect the number of both corner goals and free kick goals for Team A to go up compared to the control group. But you know what I'm going to say. I did not see that happen in these results that I have here. The number of corner goals for Team A went from 25 to 23, which is more or less constant. And the number of free kick goals for Team A went from a total of 2 to a total of 2. So no change here. So guys, so far, according to these results that I just showed you, I could not find any evidence that the set piece training sessions were effective in raising the number of corner goals and free kick goals for your team. The only possible exception is perhaps with the attacking free kick session, as the number of free kick goals for Team A went up from 2 to 8. But as I said before, given the extremely low incidence of free kick goals from these test matches, I can't say for sure whether if it's a change that is statistically significant. Alright guys, we're going to move on to the penalties training session. With this one, the experiment setup is slightly different. So what I did was, with the controlled test match that I use for my experiments, I tweaked the rules of the match a little bit using the editor, so that if the score is level after 90 minutes, there would be a penalty shootout between the two teams, Team A and Team B. So for the control group, that's when the players didn't do any training leading up to the test match. I repeated the match 300 times, and whenever there was a penalty shootout, I recorded the number of wins for Team A and Team B. After that, I made the players from Team A conduct 7 sessions of penalty training leading up to the test match. I repeated another 300 trials, and again, whenever there was a penalty shootout, I recorded the number of wins for both teams. The idea is that if the penalty training session is working as intended, then if players from Team A performed penalty training before a match, the chance of winning a penalty shootout would go up for Team A, compared to the control group. So let's have a look at the results together. So for the control group, out of 300 trial matches, there were 61 draws, leading to 61 penalty shootouts. And out of those 61 penalty shootouts, Team A won 32 times, which is 52% of the time, and Team B won 29 times, which is 48% of the time. So here we have roughly equal number of wins for both Team A and Team B. How about in the next sample pool here? So here, out of 300 matches, there has been 68 draws, leading to 68 penalty shootouts. And out of those 68 penalty shootouts, Team A won 36 times, which is 53% of the time, and Team B won 32 times, which is 47% of the time. So as you can see here, the win rate for Team A didn't show any significant change when the players from Team A performed penalty training leading up to the test match. In case there are doubters out there, I did another set of experiments, this time using a more realistic scenario. So this time I'm using the Community Shield match between Leicester City and Manchester City, which is held at the start of the preseason in England. Community Shield is a one-off match, so if the scores are level after 90 minutes, the match is decided by a penalty shootout. The experiment design is the same as before, so 300 matches for the control group. That's when the Leicester City players didn't do any training leading up to the match, and another 300 matches when Leicester City players engaged in 7 penalty training sessions leading up to the match. Alright, let's have a look at the results. So in the control group, after repeating the Community Shield match 300 times, there has been 55 draws leading to 55 penalty shootouts. Out of those 55 penalty shootouts, Manchester City won 29 times and Leicester City won 26 times. And how about in the sample group here? So again, out of 300 trials, there has been 55 draws. And out of those 55 penalty shootouts, Manchester City won 29 times and Leicester City won 26 times. Okay, so it's exactly the same number of wins for both Manchester City and Leicester City for both the control group and the experimental group. I didn't fudge these numbers, guys. I've got the raw data right here. You're more than welcome to count these numbers yourself if you guys wanted to. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that from these two sets of experiments that I showed you just now, there is no evidence that the penalty training session has any effect on the performance of your players when it comes to winning a penalty shootout. All right, let's move on. Now I'm going to show you which attributes are boosted by the various types of set-piece training sessions. The experiment design here is exactly the same as in my previous video. Basically what I do is I set up a league where the players don't play any matches for an entire season, and I get the players to only do one type of training throughout the season. I record the change in player attributes between the start of the season and at the end of the season. Then I compare that growth in the player attribute to a control sample, which is when the players don't do any training throughout the season. And that is how I can find out which attributes are actively boosted by the different types of training sessions. So here are the results. I've compiled the results into 6 separate tables, each one representing the 6 different types of set-piece training sessions. Attributes that are actively boosted by these training sessions are highlighted in green. So if you have a look at the attacking free kick and the attacking corner sessions, you can see they have these two sessions have exactly the same range of attributes that are boosted. So the attributes that are affected by attacking free kick and attacking corner sessions are composure, flair, off the ball, dribble, first touch, heading, passing, and technique. Rather surprisingly, the attacking free kick session does not boost the free kick attribute, and the attacking corner session does not boost the corner attribute. Next, we have the defensive free kick and defensive corner sessions, and you can see that these two sessions also have the exact same range of attribute boost. So the attributes that are boosted by these two sessions are concentration, flair, positioning, dribble, first touch, heading, passing, and technique. Next, let's have a look at the penalty session. No attributes are boosted by the penalty training. Not even the penalty attribute, which I must say is a little bit disappointing. Remember, guys, this doesn't mean that the penalty attribute won't grow at all if you get your players to do penalty training. It's just that the amount of growth that you see when you get your players to do penalty training, it does not exceed the default amount of growth that the players would have in the absence of training. So since the penalty training session doesn't boost any player growth, and on top of that, we've already proven before that penalty training doesn't even raise your chances of winning a penalty shootout in a cup final. So it means that the penalty training session is pretty much worthless in FM22. Lastly, let's have a look at the delivery session. This one's pretty interesting. You can see the range of attribute boost for the delivery session is, it's a combination of the boost range for these first 4 sessions that I've already showed you. So with this one, the attributes that are boosted include composure, concentration, flair, off the ball, positioning, dribble, first touch, header, passing, and technique, which includes all the attributes that are boosted by these 4 sessions, attacking free kick, attacking corner, defensive free kick, and defensive corner sessions. It looks like the amount of boost for these individual attributes for the delivery session is slightly lower than the first 4 sessions. But I think the fact that that the delivery session boosts 10 types of attributes instead of 8 for these 4 sessions, it makes up for the slightly lower individual attribute boost. So my conclusion at this point is that out of the 6 different types of set piece training, delivery, this one seems to be the one that offers the most benefit to your players in terms of boosting attribute growth. Right, folks, here's a quick summary of the findings from today's video. 1. There is extremely limited evidence, if any, that free kick, corner, or delivery training sessions make your players score more goals from corners or free kicks in an upcoming match. 2. There is no evidence that penalty training makes your team more likely to win penalty shootouts when penalty training is conducted before a cup final. 3. In terms of boosting player growth, delivery session is the best out of the 6 sessions. Attacking free kick, attacking corner, defensive free kick, and defensive corner training sessions are okay in boosting the player attributes. On the other hand, penalty session has zero effect in boosting the growth of players, so you can pretty much throw the penalty training session in the bin. Okay guys, that is it for today's video. If you guys have any feedbacks or suggestions, please leave a comment below and I will try to respond to it as best as I can. I have been receiving lots of requests to research different kinds of Football Manager related topics, and they're all good suggestions, but unfortunately these Football Manager researches do take a lot of time, so I do apologize if I can't get to all of those requested topics, but I'm doing my best. So keep those likes and comments coming because the likes and the comments, they really motivate me to work even harder for these Football Manager videos. Alright guys, I'll see you all next time.